No one else told you they love you today. I love you, and I know Maria loves you. So
Yeah,
you
amen.
you
I
can
do.
rest. You can rest in that love for the next 45 minutes.
Okay, that's good. I love that. So let me begin with you. I always ask everybody first thing. This
Okay.
is called Conversations Above the Noise. So, what do you do, Eddie, every single day to stay above the noise? Do you do anything?
Well, I do. I wake up and I say my prayers,
Mm.
and I ask that I be relieved of the bondage of self and the freedom from the Annie movie, the me movie. And then I put on my glasses and I let the dogs out to pee, and then I get serious about what I think is God's will for me on any given day, which is to love his other kids for him, and then I will have everything I need. It just works. It's a really good system, if you ask me. He or she just says, could you just take care of any of my kids that you come in contact with today? And I do. You know, it could be at the express line at Whole Foods behind an old person older than me who has too many items, possibly as many as 18, and coupons. And
Oh,
God, right? And God says, I want you just to pour it on. And I'll say to that person, I love your hat. Or can I pet your dog? Or I'm glad to see you. Because no one's telling a lot of really old people, I'm so glad to see you today. So I keep it very simple. That's my spiritual path.
I love, love, love that. It's a little bit like mine is I wake up, I pray, I thank God, I ask for, thy will to be done. Where do you want me to go? What do you want
Yeah.
me to do? But I love the way you put it. I want to love God's kids.
Yeah.
Because we're all God's kids, right? We're
Right.
all here. I love that. And so next time I'm behind somebody who's got coupons, it could
Eh,
be actually one of my kids. I'm
right.
gonna I'm gonna look for someone. I'm not gonna get irritated. I'm not gonna go like this is
No.
gonna take a long time. I'm gonna go, I love your hat.
Right. Say, I love your hat. That's what I taught my Sunday school kids was to flirt with old people and to say, I love your hat, or can I pet your dog? But you know what? Here's the secret of life. If you want to have loving feelings, if you want to have a warm heart, you have to do loving things. You take the action, and then the insight follows that you're bringing love to the express line at Whole Foods or to the gas station or wherever. And so all of a sudden you're in a field of love. You brought it, and it's nutritious to the person you're giving it to. And it's the secret is it's giving you at least as much as you've given the other person.
I love that. So this book, this new book of yours, your 20th book, your
20th. Oh,
20th
oh my
book,
God.
your
Yeah.
20th book, and you're so young, and there's so many more books to come. But this somehow, thoughts on love. So, I mean, why love now? Is it because we don't see enough of it, or is it because we've watered down the word, or are you trying to elevate the word? Tell me what was the thought behind thoughts on love?
Okay. Well, first of all, it's clear to you and me whenever we talk that not love is killing us, right? It's
Right.
killing the world. It's threatening to kill democracy. Not love is killing us. So we, as believers and people with a mission statement to try to love everyone and bring hope to a really cold and terrified world, have to put our money where our mouth is. So about 2 years ago, because the climate change papers from the UN had said that we had 12 years. Remember this 5 years ago?
Yes.
We had
Yes.
12 years to turn. Well, what, how, we forgot to turn everything around. And I just started to feel so sad about what my son and grandson will face after I'm gone. And so I wanted to write a book that was like operating instructions, or bird by bird, that would be a manual of what had always worked before for us and certainly will work again. Now, for us, you and I have both been very big in community, what
Mhm.
Martin Luther King called the precious community, and your whole family stretching way, way back. It's about the precious, it's about the beloved community. It's about taking care of the poor. It's like our prayer always ends with, make me ever mindful of the needs of the poor. And so I wanted to put it all in one place. And after about 3 chapters, I realized everything that has ever worked before has to do with one realm of love or the other. And I all of a sudden realized with a sort of sinking sensation that I was writing a book on love. And I thought, oh, Annie, you can't write a book on love. The New York City critics will hate it. It's not ironic. It's not snarky. Don't do it. Don't do it. but there I was. And so I decided just to push back my sleeves and go forward. Every piece had to do with love, difficult love, romantic love. I got married 3 days after I started getting Social Security, had to do with family love, having to do with the love of goodness, the love of truth, the love of justice, the love of mercy, being freedom fighters. Molly Ivins famously said,
Yeah.
freedom fighters don't always win, but they're always right. So we fight for women's rights, we fight for justice and freedom, we fight for beauty, love of art, which is transformative, absolutely transformative. To hear a piece of music when you're at your very lowest, it pierces us in the beautiful way. It gets in so farther, so much deeper than any words could ever get. Something by Bach or Judy Collins, and it spritzes you like it's a plant mister, and it brings you back to the now and to the sacred ground on which we have our existence when we remember to see it that way.
And I want to ask you though, you said when you thought about, oh, I'm writing a book on love and the New York City critics will like take me apart for that. Do you still, 20 books later, worry about what the critics say about your work? Because I read on Twitter the other day, because I follow you, everybody should follow Anna on Twitter. You said, oh my God, I have a terrible review. I can't remember, I'm going to eat too much. I'm feeling wounded. And I wrote back on Twitter, well, we're all going to hold you because you
You
got a
did.
bad review, and I'm going to eat with you and walk with you. And I did. And I
Yeah.
did. But
Thanks.
does it still 20 years later, all the accolades later, all the positive um, reviews, do you still worry about the one negative?
Well, the funny thing was, I wasn't worried about it. And I thought either I won't get reviewed in the New York Times or it'll be a sweet review because everybody seemed like in the Washington Post, it read like my son or my husband wrote it. It was so effusive. I wasn't worrying about it. Then I woke up 3,000 miles away at 3 in the morning because I had to go to the next plane, and I got the single worst review of my life. And it was stunning. I have to say, let's see, it was not ideal. And but then I did what you do. You're when you're our age. I'm a little bit older than you, Maria, but you have this kind of battered old toolbox, and it's got stuff in it that does work. You pick up you cry. It hurt my feelings. It was rude, and it was the first review where the reviewer mentioned my hair, for instance, or said that my words were like embroidered throw pillows. So I thought it was a little tiny bit hardly worth mentioning below the belt. But so you cry. Crying bathes us, it hydrates us, it moisturizes us, it wets the ground at our feet. Who knows what seeds are in the earth at our feet? So I cried. Then I picked up the 200-pound phone and I called my best friend. I called my husband, and they all got into the revenge fantasies with me, snake attack and hemorrhoids. And then I got my sense of humor back. And I've said probably too many times that laughter is carbonated holiness. And I started to get back to the sacred sense of life instead of an angry, possibly jealous critic going after me for some reason. And then I was semi okay. I said in that tweet I was gonna like eat my body weight in carbs, which I did. And then I went outside and and I looked up. My pastor said you can trap bees in the bottom of mason jars without lids on them because they don't look up. They walk around bumping into the glass sort of bitterly, and all they have to do is look up. So I got outside my hotel and I looked up and I said the third great prayer. I said, wow, it's so beautiful out.